G'day folks, today we're having a look at another one of Matchbox's purple range kits, the Gloster Gladiator, kit PK8 of 1973. My memory of this kit is that it was an uncomplicated and enjoyable build, which is fortunate because if it was super detailed, I may have lost even more parts than the ones I already did lose. I'd cut a radio mast or a cannon barrel off with a bit too much enthusiasm, and it'd shoot off into the shag pile carpet, never to be seen again, no matter how hard I looked. I enjoyed this kit then, and I look forward to building this one soon. We'll compare this kit to one that's almost at the opposite end of the super detail spectrum. The 2005 Pavla kit has great detail, using not only the injected moulded plastic parts, but also using parts in resin, vacuum form and photo-etched metal. Not intended for the enthusiastic kitchen or lounge room table modelers of childhood, but one which gives similar satisfaction to builders today. So let's have a look. And we start with the box art, of course, Roy Huxley work, showing a group of gladiators on interception exercises, and boy are they intercepting. Have a look at the tail chase there, certainly something to see. Then on the side we've got the 4 images of other kits from the same range to whet the appetite of any enthusiastic modeler. On this end, of course, we have the standard small image, the spot there for the price, 2-colour kit, that information. On this side, as we've come to expect, we know what it looks like if you build it and don't paint it, but put decals on. Then there's some information in different languages, and we've got the same on this end. Looking at the back, of course, it's the window, and we see it's a sort of a cream and red set of sprues. Always a great treat to look in there and imagine what you're going to build. And we have 2 colour schemes, the bottom one from the Royal Swedish Air Force and the top one from 73 Squadron as featured on the front cover. 2 silver examples. So that's the box. And so, opening it up. Very crisp. I don't think this box has been opened all that often. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. So this is what you get when you open the box. The sprues are in the fairly cheerful early colours, a cream and a bright red. Good crisp decals. And let's have a bit of a closer look at what we've got. Looking at the instructions. Now I suspect these instructions may be a copy because they're all white, there's no purple as you would expect. And if you look at the Matchbox logo on the instructions and compare it to the one on the box, you can see the one on the box is the early one that doesn't have the border and it doesn't have the rounded edges. So for one reason or another, it looks like some copied instructions have made their way into this kit. Maybe not. So on the front, of course, the picture and the prototypical information and specifications. On the back, we've got the chart for how you paint the different parts, the movable stand and a bit of prototypical information in different languages. In here we have the list of paints in different languages and how to do your decals. Then we come to the instructions, and it's the typical Matchbox 8-part 8-step instructions. Step 1, pilot seat floor. Step 2, pilot etc. goes into the fuselage and the halves are joined. Step 3, the rudder and the tailplanes. Step 4, the fuselage forward decking and the struts there. Step 5, the components that make up the engine and cowling so you can spin the prop. Step 6, the canopy and the lower wings. Step 7, the upper wings and the interplane struts there. Step 8, undercarriage and the completed engine section on. So that's pretty simple. And that's the instructions. The decals. These are pretty sure they're effectively new. I reckon they would be usable in that format. The registration appears good, the dots are in the centres. So yeah, I think they're a good set. And of course, this was on them. Canopy there. quite clean, this one, but it is typical of the time. And of course, it's a good old stand. The first sprue in that 0 red, fairly bright colour. You look at the detail, it's pretty good for the time, with the fabric sides recreated fairly well, with a few Matchbox deep panel lines there, interplane struts, decking, engine cowling, rudder, sides of the cowls, etc. And we look at the back. And it's a 1973. And the second sprue, the wings, the tail planes, engine, pilot, undercarriage, racks, propeller, etc. And that's a pretty good representation of the fabric wings, with the tension between the sections. Yeah, you got a lot of bang for your buck. This is the Pavla kit from 2005. It's got 4 different colour schemes: pre-war one in early war colours, a naval one, and one of the Malta aircraft. Now, seeing this Malta scheme reminds me of Mrs. Camilleri, a seemingly elderly family friend who in reflection was no older than my own 53 years. She'd been a child in Malta during the war, and 40 years later she enthusiastically spoke of the heroic defenders of the island, which included 3 old aeroplanes named Faith, Hope and Charity. To her memory, they defended the island for years against the unstoppable Axis hordes. While we now know that the legend of the Malta Gladiators wasn't quite as simple as Mrs. Camilleri thought, the story meant a great deal to people during those uncertain times. So let's have a look. Yep, and you can see it's quite a different detail. It's almost a book of instructions. All the parts, you've got resin parts, you've got clear parts, you've got decals, lots of very detailed instruction set. And these limited run Pavla kits were terrific for that. They gave a lot of detail and a lot of options. And it's a shame that they no longer make kits. Different colour schemes, detailed layouts. So yeah, this is at the opposite end of the spectrum. You're not going to get too many 10 or 11-year-olds buying one of these and sitting at the kitchen table and whipping it out over a couple of hours or over the day. But for the people who are keen enough and skilled enough to build these kits, something I aspire to someday, they give just as much satisfaction. There we go, we're losing parts. So I've got all the resin parts, pretty well detailed stuff. Look at the detail there. It's crisp and clear. The alternate 2 or 3 blade props. Bit of flash there, but nothing that can't be easily taken care of. Then we've got more wheels. And a lovely sheet of Decals. Gladiator and the Sea Gladiator. So that is the Pavla Gladiator. Now looking at the fuselages, they're not a million miles apart. I mean, there's obviously more detail there, but it's not like one is a million miles ahead of the other. Same with the lower wing sections. And same with the upper wings. Noting a bit of flash there on the Pavla kit, but of course being limited run, you know, you can take care of that. But there's not a huge, oh yeah, you can see a fair bit more detail on the Pavla one, but you know, to each their own. As I said, both a lot of fun to build for the people who want to build them the way that they want. So thank you for taking the time to join me again for this video. I appreciate it. You're always welcome to make suggestions what you'd like to see, and I'd be interested to see if anyone has built either or both of these kits. I'm sure a lot more people have built this one, but the Pavla one would be an interesting build as well. So thank you folks, see you next time.